And
man.
with that, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Bammsters Rated R Show.
Okay, I guess we're getting started now. I put my little toy stuff away.
Yeah, Drag is always ready to play with toys. My name, as always, is Discretion, but hey, you can call me G. It is episode 200, and Drag says 15. It's upcoming games, which means Bam's supposed to be here, but he is not. We are Bamless. We are the Bammsters less. I don't know. Something like that. It is supposed to be September 30th, so if you listened to this before, congratulations, you are amazing. Well, if you're listening to it at all, hey, congratulations, you're amazing.
That's probably the way of putting it.
Yeah, and Drag, my friend, my compadre, my amigo over in California, how are you? Yeah,
I'm doing good.
You there?
Yeah, I'm getting by. I'm doing all right. Work has been rather insane, but yeah, other than that, been doing good. How about yourself?
I have been existing, yeah. I've been playing. Look, I've got a new computer to show you before we get into the games that we play on our computers.
Uh-oh.
Look. It's a new computer.
Yeah, you did. You sent some pictures that you were working on that. So
yeah.
What all can
it's
you
doing
do?
Colors right now.
Is that all you can do with it so far?
Yeah. Eventually, I'm planning on putting it behind that monitor there, with light strips, sides and top, and then a program on the computer that captures whatever's going on, and then translates the colors on the screen into the colors in the LEDs.
Don't they make small devices like that already that you can just buy?
Yeah. Philips Hue cost like an arm and a leg and your firstborn.
And so you can make it cheaper than you can buy it. Gotcha.
No, the amount of time I'll be spending on this is absurd.
Well, time cost aside, I meant actual money spent on materials. Okay. All right.
True.
Well, upcoming
and
games for
today.
Upcoming games for October of 2020. We picked, or I guess I picked the 10 indie games that I found most interesting. There are some larger ones like Baldur's Gate 3 or Second Extinction coming out.
Does that count as indie when it's that size?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I feel like if we
Go ahead.
I feel like if we have an upcoming games and we don't mention some big release that's coming out that month, it's almost like we're doing a disservice, even though we do focus on indie games. But yeah, so those
if you're getting the money from Wizard of the Coast, you stop being indie. No?
But we've gone back and forth on this before. Sorry, sidetrack. But at what point did Larian stop being an indie game developer? Like, what point
that's the fun part. They're still independent. And I would say most of the games are, double or triple A. Double A's. But when you're tapping into something as big as Dungeons & Dragons, with a license, and you're making, in this case, Gate, yeah. It stops being indie. Why they're not getting a mention.
Okay. Well, any more than that. So first up, October 5th, game called Foregone, developed by Big Blue Bubble, will be out on, they've been pushing pretty hard that they're going to be out on the Epic Game Store, but I've found a listing for them on Steam next year in March. So I guess it's a 6-month exclusive on Epic Games. They're also targeting PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. So
this is the weird. On my end, it says it's already on the Epic Game Store. And it's only consoles, October 6th. Drac, did you find a console game?
I found one that's coming to all these platforms.
Okay.
But, they said October 5th for PC and October 6th for consoles. So.
Okay.
I don't know. That's what I'm seeing. But it's a fast, fluid 2D action platformer. Some really interesting artwork. On the game itself. Yeah, I kind of like the way that the game itself looks. We've mentioned 2D platformers a bunch of times in past upcoming games. So, if those are your thing, this may definitely be something worth checking out. Or if you don't want to give the Epic Store your money, you can wait till March and pick it up then.
Yeah. So the big thing with it is I really love how it looks, but I also love sort of the voicing that's going on in it. So I'm hopeful there's some nice story in it. I don't know how to say that, because that's my thing with these. I want there to be a narrative that's as great as the narration seems to be in the trailer. Is that fair?
Yeah. Well, and getting on a little bit more about just like I'd say the look and the feel of the game. There were some aspects of some older games that it kind of reminded me of a little bit of like, in some ways, like Castlevania type game.
Sure.
Trying to remember, we had a list of ones here, and I forgot to put special, extra notes on there. There was one of these that gave me an Altered Beast kind of look to it as well. But this is much brighter than I think that was. So, but it's definitely neat. It's kind of pixelated in the way that the art style is, but the colors that they use really pop, and I think it's really neat. Could be some fun.
Yeah, no, you're saying pixel art, and that's also sort of what I think that is one of the selling points. It's not super polished 3D turned 2D or anything like that. It's keeping an honest pixel art, but it is very updated. It is 32-bit and plus or later, so it looks good. Some of the designs a little bit Prince of Persia like. The movement's not quite
yeah.
Because the old Prince of Persia went really deep with the whole let's be super fluid. Yeah, it's weird because it doesn't look or feel or sound anything like it, but it actually reminded me that I was playing Turrican 2 recently. This is because of that 2D fast-paced platforming, so yeah.
Makes sense. Well, and then on the 7th, Dogfighter WWII. Developers are Grumpy iBong and Iggy Mob. Okay. Sounds like some online names. Yeah, I don't know either. But for anybody out there who is sick and tired of the same old when it comes to Battle Royale, this is definitely a twist I think we haven't seen on Battle Royale. It is a Battle Royale game. Well, it is a Battle Royale game, and it is a fight to the last person. However, you're not running around as an individual. Yeah, now you're flying a World War II, fighter plane and trying to be the last fighter plane in the air, basically. So, it's a little bit different than your typical Battle Royale. It's something new.
So I was looking at trailers and pictures and whatnot, and I can't figure out whether they're going for simulation effect or for arcade feel. That's one of these things. When you're talking Battle Royale, you sort of expect it to have an arcade feel, but I didn't see anything that tells me one way or another properly. And I think at least one of the bigger ones, like War Games. How do I forget those names? War Thunder. Yeah, that's a fire round shooting things. And World of Aircraft, Warcraft, something like that. They have that.
Warships?
World of Warships, but there's more to it. There's several modes. There's a flying thing as well. Wargaming has 3 or 4 different things they can do. World of Tanks. That's the one. I think they have an aircraft. I think one of those two have a Battle Royale mode, and we've seen space fighty Battle Royales as well. So it doesn't stand alone per se, but it is interesting that they're doing it, and World War II aircraft are fun to fly.
Yeah,
in Sims. I don't want to fly the real thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, just about all the Battle Royale stuff I could think of off the top of my head was either first or third person, controlling an individual. But you said space.
Most of them are. Yeah. What?
You said something about a space Battle Royale? Am I missing one that I can't remember? Was it like a space flight sim?
Yeah, I saw one at one point at least. And I'm halfway punting whether Valkyrie has a Battle Royale mode. I don't think it does.
Yet.
But it's more the thing. Everything has Battle Royale modes these days. So it gets boring. So at least here's a different way of doing it. But having played a fair bit of War Thunder, I think I would just go for a Battle Royale mode in that if that's what I wanted.
Yeah, probably makes sense.
It's a fun game. I always get killed. I don't know why.
Get
Same
good,
with World
son.
of Tanks, I always get shit.
All right, well, moving on to the 8th of October, Falcon
This
Age.
I want to play.
Yeah, we've talked about this once or twice before, where we just were talking about games. I think maybe when there was maybe some game announcements, or maybe it was Game Award stuff when they were showing this off. Yeah, the design on the Falcon in this game and the interaction between you and that's really cool. The game itself is going to be available on multiple VR headsets on Steam and Epic Games. It also on, I guess they're developing for the Oculus Quest store, PS4 and Switch, so you can play this in or out of VR. The developer and publisher's Outer Loop Games, and I don't know it. In a way, the way that they've developed some of the interaction you can have with the Falcon reminded me a little bit of that VR game Moss, where you've got the little mouse that you're given, you kind of tell the mouse what things to go do, and then you get some interaction with the mouse will like give you a high five or something like that. It was pretty cool.
The thing with Moss, I will mention this every time you say Moss. When the mouse interacts back with you, when it responds to you, right? Mm-hmm. It's doing American Sign Language.
Oh yeah, you mentioned, yeah.
Yeah, that still blows my mind that they put it in. Now, that is difficult to add. That must take ages. The only headache is there's a lot of sign languages. There's a reason why it's called American Sign Language.
Yeah.
It's related to English, etc. So I would love for there to be the other versions, but I appreciate that there isn't. This game, though, can I just say, have you seen the setting?
Yeah.
Like with all the machines and everything?
I've seen bits and pieces. So I've seen like a trailer. I've seen some different image clips and stuff that they have on their website and whatnot. It looks really neat. It has a bit of a cartoony look to it, but I'm cool with that. I like it.
Oh, sure. But it is a cartoony Horizon Zero Dawn setting.
Yeah, definitely. I can certainly see that. Yep.
And that's the thing. Do you know what? I want to play this in Horizon Zero Dawn's world. Not as Aloy, as somebody else, and not necessarily with a Falcon, but with a machine Falcon. Somebody who just randomly been adopted by a machine Falcon.
Yeah. You want to go out there and fist bump your machine Falcon, huh?
Sure.
Oop.
But yeah, you play again as a young girl, in this case Ara, not Aloy, and but here you have to make life work. You have to farm, harvest, craft, all those things, hunt. So yeah, I think this would be a fun little game. Not necessarily that little from the looks of things, really. I want to play it, and I'm not necessarily the kind who wants to play first person. Let me set up a farm game.
Yeah, I'm not big into like farming and crafting and stuff. I'd probably just want to like hop in and like send the Falcon out.
This
and
I want to play.
With the Falcon.
Yeah, and I want to do the whole accessorized. I want a cowboy hat, and there must be something else in cowboy hats, but I want a cowboy hat for my Falcon.
Yeah, that is kind of funny. The hat and the bandana.
Yeah. But the big thing is, how does the combat feel like? Because they don't show any complex combat, which was in Horizon Zero Dawn the big thing, the big takedowns, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though they get boring really fast. Oh god, I hope they fix that in the next one. There isn't really much shown here, except you launch your Falcon and throw or shoot some kind of stick at things. That's. So I'm worried about what the combat is like, but I'm hoping the game is as good as it looks, because it looks bloody gorgeous and it looks like it could be good fun.
Yeah, definitely. Lots of kudos to the art team on this one, on the style.
And I'm gonna get a complaint from whoever runs the PR on this that I mentioned Horizon Zero Dawn now 5 times. Can you tell that I'm looking forward to the next one, and I've already pre-ordered my PS5?
Oh, you were one of the few lucky ones.
This one. Oh, there's plenty of them over here. The same with the PS4, not the PS4, the Xbox Series X and S. Still get them. They never ran out in the stores.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Sure you're not getting the Xbox One X?
Yeah, no.
Discussion for another day.
A discussion for another day. Oh, yeah. You tell me how it's going with your 3080 RTX card.
I'm still waiting to be able to buy one, but apparently that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, you locked down on that thing. So, Falcon Age to round it up, I want this game of all the ones we're talking about today. This is the one I want to play more than the other ones. Sorry to everybody else. Foregone also kind of, as I said, there's another one coming up as well, but this looks good. I need to play this. Whoever handles press, send key, please. Give it to me.
All right, well, next up on the 9th of October, Exocore. This is developed by Gingerbread. And this is basically, it's astronauts in space shooting each other with laser guns or something. They have jetpacks. My first instinct when I saw this was it was very reminiscent of Tribes, if you remember that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game was a lot of fun. I was never very good at it. I did okay, but I was never very good at it. And
Tribes was too fast for me.
Oh man, that was one of the things that was so fun about it when you figure out the skiing mechanics downhill to get moving and stuff like that. Plus, I mean, shooting games have been letting us down. Why is it we haven't had a good disc launcher in a game since Tribes? There might have been one other game that had some kind of saw disc launcher, maybe. I'm trying to remember, but yeah, they had this really cool plasma disc or something that you would shoot out and you could skip it off the ground and then it would explode when it hit.
Dude, now we have to go watch Dark Angel.
Why is that?
I come in peace, and then he shoots that thing out from his arm. He has a disc launcher. I mean, this movie is 1984, something like that. But he has a little thing that shoots a mini CD out of his arm. Yeah. That's literally what they used, as far as I can tell. And it was tuned to home in on humans. So it just everybody dead. It's a good movie. It's a shit movie, but it's a good movie. Dolph Lundgren, I think. So, Exocore, to get back to it. My first take was this is what I wanted Dust to be in terms of mechanics. Cause you have this big old chute and you jump around with your jetpacks and you get all these weapons and hunt around killing each other. Oh, this looks like could be fun. Again, I am too old and too slow for this. Then again, I was too old and too slow for this 20 years ago. But I think for people who like fast-paced hide and seek with guns, because there is, arenas are supposed to be several square kilometers, which to Drac doesn't mean anything because he doesn't know what a kilometer is. This feels like it will be hide and seek.
Well, but that is one of the cool mechanics that I thought about this was the more you fly and the more you shoot, then you show up on your opponent's HUD.
Yeah.
But if you avoid doing those things, or if you can avoid doing those things, then you can kind of have a stealth option here where you can maybe come up on somebody else who's already doing combat and use that to your advantage because they might not know that you're there. So.
And that was sort of why the reason I also referenced Dustbound 4, because at the end that was a thing with the scout suits, that you want to stay as low profile as possible and not make noise. They never got it working good, so here's a game that sort of incorporates that at its core. Perhaps that will work better.
Yeah, well, the environments are much what you'd probably expect out of a spacey type game. You got stuff that looks like the moon or Mars or,
Not really, it looks like Arizona.
Well, okay, maybe it was a stretch to say Mars, but, It's a space game.
It's a pretend space game, yeah.
Yeah.
My only headache is I don't think it's gonna be successful. Sorry, devs. There are so many games, not exactly like this, but who's filling into that, let's go shoot each other genre. first, third-person shooting at their level. It's a matter of standing out and getting some momentum. And a lot of those games don't. So it isn't specifically this game that I'm expecting to have issues. It's all of them. Because if you're not in the top 5, you might as well be last.
Yeah, what are they going to do to stand out? Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And it isn't enough to have these unique selling points. USPs. If you don't get picked up by somebody big. So I've been tweeting about it. We've been discussing on our Discord. Join our Discord. It seems to be a fun game. I hope they have success. I hope they hit critical mass in terms of what they need for player base wise. I don't know what they budgeted for. But they'll need to do more than what they have, and they'll need to make more noise than they have to really stand out.
Yeah.
Looks like a fun game otherwise.
Yeah. Could be fun to check it out. Play around with it a little bit. So, alright, next up, 13th of October, Vectromirror. Now, based on what I was looking at, or what I was reading on Steam anyway, it looks like this is the second version of this game. Looked like they released an earlier version that I'm not sure if it just wasn't very popular, didn't do so well. But sounds...
A prequel, Vectromirror Zero.
Yeah, it was just, when I was looking at it, the way that some of the descriptive stuff was written up, it was like, it made it sound like they had taken feedback and then taken that feedback to create and make changes to what they're now releasing. So yeah, there is still that prequel levels that they suggest you go back and play. If I read correctly, don't quote me on this, but if I read correctly, I believe that prequel is free. And when this releases on the 13th, this one will be in early access. But
correct.
Yeah, and this gave me some like Portal vibes, not in the sense that the mechanics are the same, but that it's like that first-person perspective kind of puzzle solving kind of thing. I guess there's a lot of parkour involved in it, so maybe cross Portal with Mirror's Edge. But I guess
See, I think I think that's where they get the name Vectromirror, because it is Mirror's Edge E, but
yeah.
with vector styled or vector looking graphics.
Kind of a Tron
It's
aesthetic
not vector
to
graphic.
it.
Yeah, it has a Tron aesthetic to it, yes. And parkour, running around, solving puzzles, really. That's what it seems to be, at least to me. They don't seem to have really, really gone all out cyberpunky style. They could have.
Not really.
Yeah, they could have gone worse.
Not unless you're thinking of the old Johnny Mnemonic movie with Keanu Reeves and what it looked like once he was in the net. This still looks more like an updated version of something like that. You probably don't remember what that looks like, do you?
Yeah, no, I know. I was I went for Lawnmower Man more mentally.
Oh yeah. That was another fun one.
But they haven't fully embraced those aesthetics. So they haven't gone too far. There's still some time back to reality visually. I don't know. It's weird because I normally like these styles, but this one it just doesn't. I'm not excited about it the way I would be, and I think it's sort of the visuals how they're presented.
I don't know. This will be one of those that I think would be fun for me, at least for myself anyway, to kind of check out and play around with. Especially, I haven't seen anything about it being VR enabled, but especially if they should add that feature, I think that could be a cool VR game as well.
Be seasick from it.
You say that, but I've been lucky so far. Fingers crossed. I've been lucky so far.
Oh, it's
I haven't had
the
any...
movement I saw in the trailer. The movement I saw in the trailer. Yeah, that would need to change a little bit, but no. Either way, I guess we should look forward to a review from Drac.
Always trying to put me to work.
Always.
All right. Next up,
a manager's about.
Yeah. Next up on the 14th, Vigil: The Longest Night by Glassheart Games. Now, this is the one that I was thinking of that reminded me of Altered Beast. In kind of...
Yes.
Yeah, it's got kind of that darker, muted, well, semi-muted tone. Some of the colors still kind of pop. There's a little bit of Castlevania
Lots
to
of
it as
browns.
well. Yeah, it's a 2D like action platformer. It did look like it's got some RPG elements to it as well, with like skill trees and whatnot. So, you got loot too, so skill trees and loot. So in a way, some RPG elements to it. But yeah, I mean, if you like 2D games, if you'd all like that kind of art style and that kind of gameplay, go check it out, because this one, I don't know. It's been a while since I played too much 2D stuff. We did some stuff with like Bacon Man and Unbound and Shadowbug and a few other ones. That doing stuff with those types of games again, because before we were doing stuff with those, it'd been a while since I'd played a 2D game. Probably like Paper Mario on the Wii was the last one I played, and can't even remember what the last one I played before that was. But they kind of started getting me back into some of these things. So this one looks really neat.
So this one annoys me. No. Because it's 2D. The 2D style is awesome. It looks like, do you remember those old Christmas elves you could get that were made out of cardboard and then screwed into the holes? You never had those? Figures where you pull on a string and
and the arms do the thing. Yeah.
The rigging, the animation in this game looks sort of that style if you look at it. And I like it. I love the visual style in this one. I love the way that rigging is done. I really think it's done well. It's not done bad. Doesn't look as if somebody didn't know what they were doing. No, they knew exactly what they were doing when they rigged this game. The animation on it. But when you follow how the trailer presents the story, the setting, etc., I want these people to make a full-on 3D Dragon Age style RPG.
Ooh.
I think they're onto something. I think they have a story and a setting here that could go somewhere if they follow up with something bigger.
Well, that definitely could be interesting.
It annoys me. I want to play this in a much bigger scenario. It made me think of Shattered. If you remember that game.
Yeah, you were playing that.
Because Shattered has this combined 3D, 2.5D thing going. Where some of the time it's 3D and then suddenly it switches to 2D. And it does that by just sort of rotating and fixing the camera into 2D, which is hell of annoying. Akira knows because I've told her. But it works fairly well. And I think this game, I want this in a 3D now. I want to explore that world more, but I also want see more in terms of dialogues and communications in it. It might be that it's just the trailer completely overselling it. I don't know. But I think they might be onto something here.
Cool. Well, that one is Vigil, the
Beyond
Longest
that,
Night.
This I would play. I can see where you go Altered Beast on it, definitely.
Yeah.
Then some of the creature designs are a bit yucky.
Like the spiders?
In a good way. In a good way. They're not... Okay, sure.
Oh, well, no, I was going to say, next up, I think it's one that I probably brought to us a while ago, maybe. Space Crew.
Grit brought this one up a while back because he wanted to play the Ubisoft Star Trek game.
Okay. So Star this Trek one's called Space Crew by Runner Duck, being published by Curve Digital. And this will be on PC, Mac, Linux, and they say consoles. I wasn't seeing which consoles, though. Did you see which consoles they were coming out with this for?
No, but it's Curve Digital, so they'll probably try to hit everything. Curve Digital have good experience with Switch, so you should definitely expect it there. And I mean, the style just fits it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, but yeah, this is kind of a top-down isometric game where you're controlling a space.
More than that, because when you're flying, you're sort of in a third-person space flighty mode, from what I can tell.
Oh, okay.
It was weird because Bomber Crew, as far as I remember, was 2D in that regard, sides view. This seems to be a sequel to Bomber Crew.
Yeah,
not Bomberman was a completely different game.
Yeah, completely.
And as I said, it definitely has that Star Trek Bridge Crew-ish feel. except you have to run around. Now, this is not the first of its kind, I should say. One of the first games we interviewed, first set of developers, way back in the day, were the developers behind Atomic Space Command. Yeah. Lots of the same mechanics. This is more polished. Atomic Space Command did not get to the point of polish. Oh, over there. But it also had features this one won't have, because you could put a giant finger on the front of your ship and then ram other people with that finger. This one don't seem to have that.
No, and the animation style seems very kid-friendly, too.
Yeah. And it's a single-player game. Let's not... hence, it's not quite the same, where Atomic Space Command was... It had the option of both being single and multiplayer, and both co-op and versus. I think these people need to play that, and I think they need to make a sequel to this. Because I would love for us to play a game like this and just, get in a ship, 2 teams, 2 ships, and see us fail miserably against each other. But there is a demo of this one, so you can go and download it. It is available right now as a demo. Or you can wait until the 15th, which will be in about 16 days.
You're really pushing to make sure I have that episode out on time this week. All right, well, speaking of getting into ships, on the 16th, Aquanox Deep Descent by Digital Arrow and being published by THQ Nordic. This is basically... One thing from the description I wasn't entirely certain is whether or not... Because they say they left the surface of Earth in ruins, abandoned it, and populated the ocean. So this is like taking place, I guess, on Earth, but under the sea. If you'll forgive the Sebastian reference. Trying to get that song stuck in your head now. But yeah, you're basically piloting a little ship. In some ways, it kind of reminded me a little of Descent, in that... but not necessarily like so close quarters, but just you're in the ocean instead of in space.
And I think Descent is a valid reference, because one thing I don't see is whether it has full 6 degree of freedom in movement. That's I saw the trailer a while back even. I've seen pictures and stuff. I've been reading about it. They say they have 360, i.e. you can move in any direction, but can you can you translate up, down, left, right, and can you stop on a dime? We don't know. For everything I've seen, it's a big, and it isn't even full 360, it's near 360. So, meh.
Yeah, so the question is, are the flight mechanics going to be similar to Descent, like it would be out in space, or what you might expect out of underwater, or are they going to be more like flying a plane but underwater?
Yeah, and I think it's the latter, from what we're seeing, that it's similar to a lot of space combat sims that have you flying as a plane in space, except this time underwater. With the note that because this is underwater, there should be the options for visual effects, what you can play with sounds, because sounds carry really well in water. That would be amazing. They could do some atmospheric stuff here that would be just top-notch. Whether they do remains to be seen, because we haven't tried the game, and it wasn't covered in the trailer either.
Well, and how are they populating that little map that you get in the little center part of your console? So is that like through like sonar pings? And then can I, in my Sean Connery voice, 1 ping Vasily, 1 ping Ole. The eye rolling is why I did that in the first place.
That was terrible.
It was absolutely horrible.
Jeez.
And it was horrible.
Please do not do that again. Please do not do that again.
But if you're not into underwater stuff, on the same day, you could check out
That
9 Monkeys of Shaolin. Yeah, I don't.
Now I'm more into foresty stuff. Sometimes kitchen stuff.
9 Monkeys of Shaolin.
Oh shit, now you're giving me flashback to a trip to a swimming pool. Damn you. Damn you.
By
They had,
Sabaka Studio, out on the 16th. I'm trying desperately to go on with this. And not...
Jesus, that's now stuck in my brain.
But they call this a true rebirth of the iconic beat 'em up genre. So you're playing as a character. It's a brawling type game, but it's 2D side scrolling, and you run around beating people up with a bow staff.
Yeah. Long stick.
Yeah. But the colors are very muted. It almost, I can't quite tell. Is it supposed to be kind of a cel shaded look to it?
Doesn't look the part to me. I mean, I don't. Yeah, okay, muted, but not in a dark and gray, but more in a slightly flat color palette.
Yeah, that's more or less what I meant. Yeah.
But the movement and the movement options and the attacks that you're doing seems fairly well made. I like the little he gets up on his stick and twirls around and kicks people. But it slows down so you can really see what's going on. No, the combat in it looks good. It looks well animated.
Yeah.
So, I have issues because whenever they do this, like, do they understand the era and everything that they tapped into? Because the idea with Shaolin is that you're supposed to be ready and not use it, right?
Well, I mean, everybody loses their temper sooner or later, right?
That's a matter of
or sometimes
how much control you have.
Or sometimes you're backed into a corner, and the cost of not acting is so much higher than the cost of acting. So
there's I'd be curious about how much they tie into the story and not the story, but how much tie into the setting that they're playing with and whether it has a good story.
Yeah, I mean, the backstory for it just says that you're on a vengeful path, basically, that you're out there to avenge the death of your friends and family that were slaughtered in a pirate raid, so...
And it sounds boring in that regard, so the combat looks good. As you seem to be complaining about the color palette a little bit.
No, I was trying to describe it, not complaining.
Okay, sure. Besides that, I don't really have anything on it. It doesn't look bad, it just looks potentially boring.
I think the gameplay will decide how interesting the game is. Like, the story definitely could, possibly carry it some, but I think ultimately what it comes down to is how fun is the gameplay. So, it does look like the old school brawler type games, side-scrolling brawlers, Double Dragon, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that kind of thing. Like, if you remember the old Nintendo games. That one. Oh, did they? I missed that part.
Yeah.
Which one?
In the About
or,
section, it says, as a kid, my favorite beat-em-up was TMNT.
Oh, well, there you go.
Excellent. Yeah. 9 Monkeys of Shaolin will definitely be for you. Okay. Which is weird, because the only TNMT game I ever loved was an arcade one.
Was which one?
There was an arcade Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, I think that's the same one that was on the Super Nintendo or something like that, if I remember right.
Possibly, but where the map sometimes goes like diagonal, it doesn't just go sideways.
I think, and I think sometimes didn't it also go vertical? Like there were some maps or something where you were going into like either the sewers or against Krang or something like that. I can't. Man, my memory, as bad as it is, you're lucky I'm getting this much back. All right, and last one on our list of our top 10 indie games for October 22nd, Dwarfheim, developed by Pine Leaf Studio. Now, this, I don't think we've seen a ton of RTS games, and I kind of wanted to highlight this one. Just, I like the way that the game looks, but also because we don't talk much at all about RTS games. I just don't see a lot of them coming out. Every once in a while, we've mentioned one, but. So for anyone
they show up every so often.
Yeah, just not as much as I think they were for a short period of time where they were kind of...
If you notice recently, there was a re-release of Command & Conquer Red Alert.
Well, yeah,
And
remaster.
we practically could not get Bam to shut up because he loves that game. Well, that whole series of games.
That's true enough.
Yeah.
But,
and in this genre, there was a reimagining. Somebody purely in Blender, purely as a this is how it could look like, made an updated version of the old Dune 2. Like, what would Dune 2 look if he had his way, and it looked gorgeous. God, that I wanted to play.
I heard about that one, but I didn't see the visuals.
They were pretty. Let's just say it that way. Dwarfheim, we're back to a game that irritates me, though.
Why is that?
It looks really good. It looks... I like the visual style. I like what we're seeing with the animations, movement, people setting up things. I don't want to play RTSs, though.
You just want to treat this as a sim.
I want to play something similar as a city builder.
The thing about this that kind of annoyed me a little bit when I was looking at it, but not to like say it sucks because of that or whatever, but it really seems targeted at 3 versus 3 teams, 3v3 teams. So, yeah, I guess with random matchmaking you can fill that out, but I don't know. Something like this, I wouldn't be playing online PvP anyway, so that's not going to have a massive effect on me. And there are some co-op options. At first, I got a little concerned because when you're first reading it, it's like, oh, this is co-op PvP and PvE game modes, and I'm like, wait a minute. What do you mean co-op? I hate when developers call it co-op PvP because no, it's team-based PvP. It's not co-op PvP. If you're fighting other players, even if you're on a team, that's not co-op. That's team-based. Sorry, I'll get off that soapbox.
PvPvE, where you play with yourself and others, both against the others and against the environment. That also gets fun.
And that doesn't qualify as co-op either. Co-op is when you're on a team with other human players playing against the AI. Period. And that's a hill I'm willing to die on. So, getting off that...
Yeah, we should arrange that.
But getting off that soapbox and moving on to the game, there are some cooperative options from what I was reading in there as well that don't involve PvP. So there should be some things. I'm curious to see, even with the co-op, it almost made it sound in some cases like they still wanted you to have 3 people to play. I'm kind of a fan of that co-op should be 2 to 4 players, fluid minimum. So you have at least 2 players, but the game should handle up to at least 4 players cooperatively, and then be able to adjust the difficulty, the game itself, based on how many players are actually playing. So, if you want to do as many as 6, that's great, but 2 to 4 minimum. This seems to target 3. So without us actually having our hands on it, me not having my hands on it yet, I'm not sure. And from I have a buddy of mine who was playing the early game beta, but it was only PvP. They didn't have any of the co-op stuff in that yet. So unfortunately, no news to report on how co-op works yet.
Okay. So I should probably say that it looks very functional. Looks very good. The style is cute. The trailer was particularly cute. People who are into RTS probably love it, and I think this whole, as you have issues with 3v3, but that does seem to be the thing, that you can do small team based. That seems 3v3 seems to work in terms of esports, etc. So I can appreciate why they go that direction. Where it ends up, no idea. But this thing I would have faith in going somewhere.
Yeah, especially because RTS games that market isn't super crowded right now. So
yeah, apologies to Exocore.
But on that note, that was our top 10 indie game releases for October. So hope you have found something
borderline double A's.
Yeah, some of them
borderline double A's.
Yeah. But hopefully we touched on something that catches your interest. And for those of you who watched or made it to the end, thank you for sticking with us and checking us out.
Some Falcon Age, some Vigil, yeah. Foregone too, possibly. Sorry, I'm just saying what I'm wish listing. Actually, One of them I just clicked wishlist on, so you know. Good. Apologies that we're mostly just doing these upcoming games, and apologies that Bam isn't here. But we have more content in the pipeline. We'll just take a little bit break because, 2020. Ugh.
Yeah, things have been nuts.
Things have been.
Work
Definitely.
stuff, family stuff. I mean, it's just been crazy all
Y'all
around.
don't want to know. Y'all don't want to know. So, if you like what you've seen so far, if you like our regular content, click like, subscribe, hit all the buttons, ding all the bells. If you're catching us on Spotify, get yourself a Spotify subscription and it'll get us there. Well, no idea, you can probably do it without. If you're catching us on Amazon, we'd like to know how, because we're not on Amazon.
Just throw that out there. If you're catching on, on a service we don't mention, let us know.
Oh no, I should say we're on a lot of them, because apparently various websites, podcast portals, etc., have picked us up without us knowing it. I'm getting emails from some that I've never heard of. Like, oh, you're doing this well on our system. We never signed up. How? Why? What's happening?
Do you run ads? Can we get money?
I think one of them, one of them is running ads on whatever it has. I can't even remember the name of it right now. So there's a slight headache there, but I think I concluded we have one listener on that platform, so it's... I should be doing something. I'm not. I'm too lazy for that amount.
Hey,
Sorry.
In 100 years, that could be worth something. All right. Well, enough of our babbling. We're going to say goodbye for this episode. We'll catch you guys in the next one.
Ciao.